Arrogance is at an all-time high. I might be incorrect by saying that, since all I know is what I've seen within the span of my life. And maybe things have always been like this, and everyone has always been an egotistical reprobate. But still, why does it feel like people are so full of themselves these days? Whenever conversations are made, it just seems like a battle to be seen as the best of the bunch. And whenever people are proven wrong, they become spiteful, instead of wanting to know why they were wrong in the first place. It's even worse on social media, which, in my opinion, is the main place that works to foster this sort of thinking. You have people putting on facades, molding their persona in life into what they see as the ideal. This perfect version of themselves is what they want to be broadcasted to the world. And that's sort of what social media is, a place to freely create your own identity and image, so that others can have a view of you that you yourself want them to have. So we can say that, in essence, nobody wants to be seen as who they really are. Nobody wants to expose their true, flawed self to the world. They only want people to see a heightened, glamorized version of themselves. The act of these people shaping their image to become their ideal can be considered a form of artifice. And it's pretty much the same in real life. People have become so conscious of the way they do anything in public. Breathing, eating, standing, speaking, you name it. Artifice is used to mend and refine those acts so they align with the way that person wishes to present themselves to the world. But honestly, why are people like this? Why does everyone think that they're in an edit now? I think, as I mentioned previously, social media is one of the reasons. But honestly, media in general is probably to blame. Games, TV, anime, and the like. Now as a result, we have everyone trying to become like the real life Ian and Koji or something. And I know that everyone wants to be cool and special, but come on, you have to admit it. It feels like things have gone way too far. The main character syndrome is spreading like crazy. Actually, maybe that's it. Nobody wants to be seen as a side character. It's like they have a fear of it. They fear being average and insignificant. And I think I suffer from that as well. For a lot of us, there could be times where we get a sudden boost of self-esteem from something, like maybe you won a competition or argument, or you realized how good your physique is from consistently going to the gym, or maybe, just maybe, someone compared you to Gojo. I mean, that's happened to me before. But anyway, it's easy for that self-esteem to turn into self-importance. You might start thinking, maybe I really am the main character. That is probably the purest form of arrogance within this cycle, because your pride is actually, to a certain extent, grounded in something, even if you may not know what that something is. But as time goes on, things start to change. You'll keep reassuring yourself of how great you are, but there will come a time where you're humiliated and embarrassed by a mistake of yours, and that'll change everything. I'm gonna give you an example. Imagine you do a presentation in class. It's your turn, so you get up out of your seat. But right as you begin walking, you trip, and just barely manage to catch yourself. That's mistake number 1. "Whoa, are you okay?" the teacher asks, unaware that they just made the situation 10 times worse. But whatever, right? Everything's fine. You can still go on to present. 10 seconds in, it's an absolute mess. You're stuttering, accidentally saying words like Riz and Sigma, and you just don't know what you're talking about. You just try to BS your way through it, and after finally finishing, walk back to your seat in shame, while everyone's giving you sympathy claps. So tell me, how can you see yourself as the main character after that? Well, I'll tell you how. Through something we call willful ignorance. Your arrogance becomes willful ignorance. You'll probably go about that day with flashbacks of your humiliating performance appearing in your head, like you have PTSD or something, and that's probably giving you a mini identity crisis. So in order to combat this, you make an attempt to repress and forget what just happened. Well, or you might try to convince yourself that it was all part of your plan, and you just made those mistakes on purpose. I've done that before. Like I was scheming, like it was all part of Eisen's plan. I'm basically Eisen. That's besides the point. Either way, this is what I mean by willful ignorance. Those who exhibit this type of arrogance purposely try to blot out their faults and blunders in order to make themselves feel at ease. They might be thinking, it's okay, I'm still the main character. Then the cycle continues. The artifice continues. And in the end, nobody, not even yourself, gets to see the true you. This is why so many people these days crave something genuine. This is what leads them to crave something genuine. They want a real, uninhibited bond. No fronts and no facades, but they can't because they refuse to lower their masks and face themselves. It's sad, that's all it takes. They just have to lower their masks and face themselves. They just have to recognize their faults and their mistakes and get rid of this artifice that they constantly use day after day after day. Very few can actually just be genuine. Oh well, that's just how it is, I guess. I've been talking for way too long, so goodbye. Stay alive, everyone.